1075 The Game Podcasting is sponsored by Modern Exterminating, a family-oriented company. Professional, honest, and dependable pest control solutions. We're your one-stop shop for all pests. We do it all. We know what bugs you. Visit us online at pestfreesc.com. That's pestfreesc.com.
If South Carolina goes to Baton Rouge, does something that I don't know if they're going to be able to do. That's their toughest game of the year by far, going to Baton Rouge. And if they are able to pull off a win, they're going to have to turn around 6 days later and get ready to play an Oklahoma team that might be feeling a little bit more like, hey, remember what happened last year? Remember we got our butts kicked by this team and the game was over within 5 minutes? They're not going to forget that. Brent Venables certainly isn't going to forget that. So South Carolina has to be careful going into that game too, because if they play really well at LSU, that doesn't mean anything if they don't show up the next week. And
so much of the success for Oklahoma this year is going to hinge on John Mateer. And look, I don't think Michael Hawkins Jr. and Jackson Arnold will helped out by the bad offensive line, the injuries they had at wide receiver. I know Arnold took accountability for that at SEC Media Days, but I don't think that's necessarily on them. But look, we think John Mateer can be special. There's a lot of people drinking the John Mateer Kool-Aid this offseason. This guy's going to follow the Cam Ward model and go from Wazoo to a Power 4 school and set the world on fire. And if that's the case, that's certainly going to cause South Carolina some problems. But my concern comes from Brent Venables, who is one of the better defensive minds college football scene since the turn of the century, right? Obviously coordinated so many great Clemson defenses that led them to the national championships. And we know that defense is going to be good. And this kind of flew under the radar. They held South Carolina to their second lowest yardage total a season ago. So Carolina didn't exactly run all over those guys. They just happened to benefit from how well Carolina's defense played. And you're returning a lot of production on that Oklahoma defense too. You know that's going to be tough to deal with.
Yeah, that OU defense is definitely tough. Like we talk about South Carolina having 9 sacks in that game. Oklahoma was very tenacious in getting to the football and bringing Sellers down in the backfield. Like you mentioned, Mateer coming in here, replacing Jackson Arnold. That's going to be something interesting because Mateer's offensive coordinator from Washington State is following him to Oklahoma. And Oklahoma will have pretty much an entirely revamped system with the offense. And then, Brent Venables is going to be, potentially calling plays for that defense this year. The other thing with the offense, though, sticking with that side of the ball, new running back in there too. Jaden Knott transferred from Cal, one of the top transfer running backs in the portal. Someone that's almost rushed for nearly 3,000 yards in his college career, 25 touchdowns. So he's someone that is definitely going to be having to really keep an eye on in this game.
You get the homecoming game against Alabama, which I think people are circling as one of the, if not the biggest games of the entire season as far as the SEC slate goes. Here's what makes me feel good. Kalen DeWard does not lose a lot in his time as a head coach, but when he does, it's typically on the road. He lost all 3 of his games last year on the road. You're coming into a hostile environment in South Carolina on a night game in a homecoming setting. Like, this place is going to be rocking, and I hope that is an advantage for Carolina in this game.
It has to be. I mean, that is such an underrated factor of this game, is that the fact that it would most likely be at night and it's at Willie B. And yes, it's homecoming weekend, and some people might feel some type of way about that. But that means it's just going to be probably the biggest home game of the year for South Carolina. And look, it comes on the 15th anniversary, not an exact date, but year-wise, it's 15 years since South Carolina had that crazy upset as a number 19 team against Alabama in 2010. Maybe they'll have the same vibes. Who knows?